So going through an example of the multiplier effect, so the scenario was the government buys $20 billion worth of planes from Boeing, so $20 billion worth of goods come into existence, aggregate demand would shift to the right by $20 billion. And then the idea is that the workers earn a salary from making these planes, profits get paid out to the shareholders, and then people use that to buy additional goods and services, so there's even a larger effect on aggregate demand than $20 billion. So the idea is that aggregate demand would go farther to the right. There'd be even more aggregate demand created in the economy by this initial round of spending of $20 billion. How large this additional increase is depends on the marginal propensity to consume. So we'll see that in a second here. If let's say this $20 billion came in the form of income for people and they saved all of it, the marginal propensity to consume was 0, then there would be no multiplier effect. So if it was all saved, then there's no more additional rounds of spending. But if some of it's spent or a lot of it's spent, then you end up with additional basically demand created in the economy. So real quick on the marginal propensity to consume, that's going to be the next slide, and that's really what creates the multiplier effect. So marginal propensity to consume is when someone earns an income, how much of that are they likely to spend versus save. The more likely they are to spend than save, the larger the multiplier effect. Take it to an extreme, if all of the income was saved, there would be no multiplier. So let's take that $20 billion that the government spent on planes. If it was all saved, then there's no additional rounds of spending. So no more additional rounds of increasing in aggregate demand. But the more likely it is to then be spent, and then the next person receives it and spends a portion, you can keep creating more and more demand in the economy. So the multiplier effect really is dependent on having some marginal propensity to consume versus a propensity to save.